Hello, everyone. Sean Ellis from Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal. And tonight I have a special guest that's very close to me. She is a Reiki master and she is also my mentor. She will be on the show here tonight. She doesn't have a camera, but she will be talking live with us tonight. Hello, Tracy. How are you tonight? Also, I would like to say happy birthday to one of our teammates, Miss Leslie. I hope she had a great birthday today, and we'll see you here in a few days or so, and hopefully we'll have another investigation soon. So without further ado, I'm going to invite Miss T on the show.
Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
I am well. How are you?
I'm hanging in there. It's a little muggy in the house, but I'm hanging in there tonight.
It is. Yeah, the humidity is crazy around here.
So, Reiki.
Yes.
You are a Reiki master. Can you explain how that works a little bit, please?
The easiest way to explain it is that it's energy healing. You call on the universal energy, which is God's energy, that we all have access to. You just once you're attuned to it, you go through a few ceremonies with it, and then you learn how to use that universal energy effectively. I also have the 9 rights of the Munaiki, which is, to me, it's the same energy that both use. It's just different ways of accessing it. The Munaiki rights, I feel like, are a lot more they're a lot more personal, and they're a lot it kind of moves you through it a little bit more slowly, so that you have a chance in between each of the rights. There are 9 rights. I think I already said that, but once you move through all 9 rights, it just each level is a little bit different in how it affects you. Some of them more powerful than others, and it helps you kind of find your own strengths within it. So I think I use Munaiki a little more than I do Reiki, just because I just feel like it's more in tune.
Right. You granted me those 9 rights, and
Yes.
to me, it seems like it helped balance me more and connect me more with everything around.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it comes in a lot handier than people realize, because you can turn that bad energy into good energy, and some people don't know how to do that. So that's a really good trait to have.
Well, and it's not just with you healing people. You can heal your environment. You can heal like a house that is holding on to negative energy. You can heal that. People are actually harder to heal than spaces, because the people have to accept that healing and be ready to let go of things.
Very true. And if they don't accept it, then it seems like it gets tougher for them at times, especially when you're trying to help them out.
Absolutely. And you can easily, as a healer, you can accidentally tap into some of your own energy, which is, you don't want to drain yourself. Using the universal energy keeps you from draining your own energy on others, because there are some people that are energy vampires. Not vampire in the blood sucking sense, but vampires, right, as in they have a lot of negativity, and they can definitely drain you.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, both of us have come across that, I'm sure, and some of the other paranormal investigators sure come across things like that as well.
Sure.
What's one thing that you've come across that's been very complicated to deal with here as of the last several years? As in, have you done an investigation?
I have been on investigations. Those have not been as complicated as dealing with because we all have our own things that we have to handle, and I tend to, for me, I tend to get busy and I forget to practice, and that's been an issue lately. But as far as difficult, um, being in an investigation that's been difficult, I think it's only as difficult as you allow it to be. I
I agree with.
I feel like some people create a negative energy in a space to make things bigger than they are, when really, I mean, as a paranormal investigator, the job is supposed to be to either go in and identify the situation, see what is that's in there, without creating something new and negative, or to clear any negative energy that's already there. And making it more than that can create issues to the homeowner or the building owner, that can make it a lot harder in the future for them.
Oh, most definitely, I agree with that. Do you think it's more of them manifesting it themselves, or the property sometimes, or even the house itself absorbing the energy?
Usually it's a combination of all of those. A lot of people are more susceptible to negative energy because, I mean, we all have traumas that we have to deal with throughout life, and it's how you have to process those traumas, and we all process them differently, and we all process them at different paces. But if we're holding on to trauma, we are kind of a magnet for that negative energy to enter our space. We have to come to the conclusion and realize that we are stronger than those energies, and we can push those negative energies away. But as an investigator, that's something that we can step in for those people and help clear those spaces. It's up to them whether they keep it clear or not.
Hello, Jamie Lynn from Party Paranormal,
Hello.
or Paranormal Party. I keep confusing that. Jamie Lynn Keller. I've been with her on a few investigations, and we've had some hellacious times. And nice to see you here, Jamie. Um, People that don't understand that they're an empath or clairvoyant and having issues, what would be the best way to explain some of that to them?
Oh, that's because a lot of times the issues we create that are created around us, and I mean, they're not all completely created by us. Other people don't always accept when you have abilities. Even in the Bible, Jesus said a prophet is not a prophet in his hometown. People that know you all your life, all of us that are empaths, we have hidden that from people our whole life. So when we do come out, there are a lot of people that are negative about it. And I mean, having other gifts like being clairvoyant, you know, and all of that, they are even more criticized. And also, you also have people that think that it is against biblical things, which
Real.
it is not. I mean, if you really read into the Bible, read through it and everything, they do talk about it. They talk about
Thank you,
false
Jamie.
prophets, and that's wrong, being a false prophet. But there's a lot of prophets that's how their gifts came about, is that they were able to touch in, go into their abilities and bring those out. Sorry, I'm kind of stumbling for things a little bit.
It's okay.
I didn't get much sleep last
It's
night.
okay. It's what was the hardest thing you had to learn when learning Reiki?
I had to learn not to doubt the energy that I was using and not to doubt myself. That was
Do Do you think?
That's the first that can kill the energy that you have if you have doubts. It's kind of like, and fears. If you have fears, that'll shut you right down. I have an example of fear that I had when I was a little girl. Most people, they can bring up a scary movie that just freaked them out when they were younger. I watched Friday the 13th when I was 8. That didn't faze me. But when I was 12, I watched the original Alice in Wonderland movie, which had the Jabberwocky in it. And that scared the heck out of me because it was a mind freak. It was because it could only hurt you if you believed in it.
Right.
And that's the way, or if you feared it. And that's the way a lot of these spirits that are negative energy are. If you can just shut out that negative focus and that negative energy, it'll push them away. So they are real, but you can push them away. You can attract them and you can push them away. Everybody can. There's not any special ability that any of us have.
I definitely agree on that. I mean, it's kind of like I try to tell some people, they keep having so much negativity in their life. It's the words you manifest that keeps coming toward you, because if you keep pushing out negativity, it's going to come back as negativity and it's going to keep hitting you. There's really no way around it unless you start changing the perspective on the way you look at things. And some people can't do that very well.
Right.
So, I mean,
well, and everything it's hard everything on earth is vibrational. We attract vibration that is like our own. So if we're vibrating at a low level, which means that we're thinking negatively, we're going into, and sometimes it's inadvertent, but we have to we're the only ones that can bring ourselves out of it. Depression, things like that. We all go through that. But at that time, we're in a low vibrational state. And the only way to get out of that is to raise your vibration. You can do that with crystals. You can do that with meditation, with essential oils that are higher vibration. And sometimes our vibration is so low that if we use, the essential oil with the highest vibrational frequency is rose oil. And rose oil for some people will give them headaches because it's too high vibration for them. And it just, they're not resonating with it well. And to where sometimes it's better to start off with something, yes, high vibration, but not quite as high, like lavender. That's why lavender is so calming. It can bring us up to another level, and but not quite as high as like the rose oil. And that's the same with crystals too. There are some that resonate with certain people. Like for some people, a tiger eye is a protective stone. For others, it can cause issues. I'm an Aquarius. Tiger eye isn't the best idea with me unless I use it with something else that is not going to accentuate its energy. So I can't wear tiger eye with clear quartz, or it's gonna just, it'll create it's too much and it'll create a negative. It'll be opposite what it does for most people. So, but the Aquarius people are weird anyway. So we have a lot of odd things. I can say that because I am one, and my daughter is one, and my granddaughter is one, and so.
I wouldn't say you're weird, but I as well as I do, I prefer tiger's eyes, and they seem to work really well with me. Especially the way you've trained me how to use them and stuff. I'm
going to be more likely to use obsidian for the same reason.
Right. And I also use that as well. Obsidians and tiger's eyes to me are like hand in hand, along with the clear quartz. They work great for me.
Well, clear quartz will accentuate.
Like I said, everybody's a little different.
Right. Yeah, everybody has different vibration and frequency. So
yeah, So, is there any type of crystal you would recommend to people if they wanted to start meditating to help them? Is there any particular one
I
that
think
would not
I
be
think that
harmful either
depends.
way if they used it?
I think that depends, but I think a solid start is definitely clear quartz with amethyst. Those are good to help with your with when you're meditating, and it helps you connect to your higher self, your which some that means different things to different people. The Holy Spirit, the your high self, whatever, people call it a different thing. So, but yeah,
Yeah, very
I
true.
think that everybody should have that. Aventurine is good for healing. Um, but the clear quartz, when you put that with anything, that's going to um, help that energy of that crystal get bigger. So make sure it's one that you resonate with. My
Right.
my suggestion, though, for anybody looking at crystals is just pick them up. Go to the store and pick them up, hold them in your hand, and whatever feels right for you, because it's going to be different for everyone. There is no one size fits all.
I
So,
definitely
and
agree
you
with
can
that. I
get a
mean,
hold of one that has a bad energy that hasn't been cleared as well. So make sure that you're clearing your crystals, and make sure you clear them regularly, because and which you can do with
right.
either put them outside during the full moon, which a lot of people already know that, or you can run them under cold water. But some of them you don't do that with. Make sure it's not like a selenite or something like that. Or you can another thing you can do is put them in a container with selenite, and that will clear them as well.
Right. I mean, I use selenite to cut away spirits in case they're attached
Yeah.
to some of
Yeah,
us
they
on
will. You can cut
investigation.
cords too if you feel like somebody's attaching to you. I have a rose quartz that I use all the time too, Jamie Lynn. I love my rose quartz.
Yeah. I also have rose quartz. I like using that when trying to heal things. It seems to me that the rose quartz helps me heal more than the lavender type or the other one does. So I use
Yeah,
rose quartz
the
for that.
amethyst.
But yeah,
Rose quartz is really good for
yeah,
healing
the
emotional
amethyst.
trauma. Very good for emotional trauma.
Yeah. Um, a lot of crystals. I, like I said, they make sure you clear them out before you use them, especially if you buy them from the store or get them through the internet, because
Yeah,
they do carry bad energy with them through the travels.
sure. And yeah,
Hello,
and
Pam Harris.
yeah, and they can also
Go ahead.
they can create attachments as well if you don't clear them.
Right. Now, you have been on an investigation together before, and we've came across attachments.
Yeah, we've been
Um,
on several before actually.
yeah, and we've been in some really kind of, how do I say, high energy type ones as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hello. Yeah. Hello, Pam. Pam Harris is from Serene Divine. I am co-host with her on her show when
Hi,
she
Pam.
comes on. Um, but yeah, it's how do you explain, because some people doesn't understand when they're empath, and I think it's more the empath side of them. When you walk into the room and you feel that heavy, deep feeling of something there, how would you describe that to them for the first time, and not being a medical issue sometimes? And I mean, sometimes it can be,
It
but
can make you dizzy. It
how would
can
you
make you
explain that?
feel like your heart is racing. Yeah, if you walk into a room and you're not feeling right about it, and then you walk out and walk back in, there's yeah, definitely. Hi, Pam. So
Yeah.
Sean wasn't going to say anything about this. I'm using a different name right now because I can't legally be in the public without having pre-approval from because of the industry that I work in. But Pam, we've talked before. I was on the team with Sean.
Yeah, she is a former team member, and like I said, she is also one of my mentors. She has taught me a great deal about crystals and Reiki as well.
Well, I've learned from Sean too. I don't think that anybody is any kind of master of anything, and if they say they are, then run. They aren't.
Yeah, I mean everybody's capable of learning more and more.
Mm-hmm.
And
when you stop learning and become stagnant, something's wrong. That means your ego needs something.
No, most definitely, because I mean, like you said, we don't know everything, and to learn more and to keep learning is a benefit. It's to keep balance, to keep harmony, to learn both sides of things, so you can keep that balance. And some people don't understand that either. So
right. Well, and there's sometimes that I'll think that I know something, and then I will just, my ego will be kicked right out of me, and I'll realize that I was completely wrong on that. And that's because I was leaning on my own understanding. And that's not what we're supposed to do.
Right. I mean, like I said, nobody's perfect. Nobody has the answers. But I mean, as long as we keep learning in the process of learning, that's the benefit to understanding. And some people don't understand that. But like I said, it's everybody's perspective as well.
Sure. Everybody's perspective.
Right.
Yeah, we're all evolving, and we should always be evolving.
And yeah. I've had some people look at me here lately within the last year or so, because I started to learn the darker side of things.
Mm-hmm.
In order to, you have to learn the darker side in order to understand the light, because it's a balance. Because if you don't have the balance, right, exactly. And a lot of people don't understand the yin and the yang part, and it's like, oh, you're doing this, and no, you're doing that. No, it's to understand, in case you come across a situation or come across something you haven't, and you could understand it more. And if you don't have that understanding, it could get you into a lot of trouble.
Yep. What do they call that? The something dark night, that everybody, when they're going through their awakening phase, everybody goes through the dark night of the soul.
Right. I think I more or less went through my dark side probably at a younger age in some essence than now, because now I understand that balance is the key, and don't sway one way, don't sway the other, because if you sway the other, then you're not going to learn the other. And if you keep the balance, you can understand, and that's a good thing to do.
Absolutely. That is the main thing. That is so important. Yeah.
Because I have seen people that come across things and darkness and go to the dark side and not even realize they're doing it. And it's hard for them.
We've both seen that at the same time together too. So
right. And
unfortunately,
it's hard to explain to them. You have to maintain that balance. And if you don't, you will sway one way or the other. So
yeah.
And it's kind of complicated. I guess one of the benefits that I have when you gave me my Menaki rights is that we found out that I have the sign of balance, so I could go either way and not have issues. Right. So that to me was very, very cool thing to learn, especially going through the Akashic records and then learning other stuff as well.
Well, I think that a lot of
underestimating or
people,
overcoming.
okay, so the dark side, I think a lot of people misunderstand that. Jamie Lynn, I'm reading your comment. Um, because most of the spirits that are out there are just scared, and some of them don't even know that they're dead. They're just walking around aimlessly, not knowing what's going on. I think it makes a really good case for the Catholics' belief in purgatory.
I can see that. I can see that. And like I said, if it was a traumatic accident and they just happen to die and they don't realize they are dead or passed away, it's definitely interesting because they're not bad and they're not good either. But I mean, they're just neutral, and
Right.
you got to understand that too. And sometimes, and I think you and I have both seen this. When we've come across some spirits before, I mean, and you could correct me if I'm wrong. If you die in anger and just an angry person, more than likely you're going to have that anger presence when you're in a spiritual world.
Right. But the way that we need to look at that, rather than be afraid of them, look at it as your grumpy old uncle that that's just grouching all the time. I mean, really, that's what it is.
True. True. But like I said, some people just die with hate in their heart, and some people can't change.
I agree. It's not dark. It's lost and angered. I agree, Jamie Lynn. That's what that's what I mean by it. Just look at it like it's your grumpy old uncle who's just, mad at the world because of things that happened to him.
Yeah.
Now there are dark
Yeah,
energies
like I said,
out there, but I think a lot of it, yes, I think it is very rare to find a demonic spirit. But I personally have come across those, and it started when I was young, but it had nothing to do with something that was harmful to me. It was something that was meant to teach me a lesson. I needed to learn things. And the biggest thing I needed to learn is that you don't have to fear any of that. It's just, we've got to, that's the thing. Our society is so stuck in fear of so many things. But how much time do we spend worrying about things that never happen? We're worrying about this happening in the future, that happening in the future. I'd say 90% of those things we worry about don't happen. Everything works out fine most of the time. Yes, there are times that it doesn't, but that's because there are things that we need to learn from that, or that we need to get out of our lives that we didn't realize were bad for us.
Hi,
Hi,
Jamie.
Victor.
Hello, Victor. Hello, Logan. I don't see you guys in the chat, so you must be on one of the pages that's not working. I've been trying to correct it. I've been trying to fix it all day today, and it says it's supposed to be working, and evidently it still is not. So I apologize for that. So tune into one of the YouTube page if you want to make some comments, so we can see them.
Sure.
Randall Stewart here. He is one of my
Howdy, spooky
sponsors. Yeah. I fear no man or anything, just fear God himself.
Right.
Randy is one of the sponsors of the show. And then
but I like to think
Jenny
of, okay, so
Atkins.
The fearing God thing, I think it's more fear. If the word that they used in, I can't remember if that section was Greek or Hebrew, but the word they used is not, it can also mean obey God. I look at God as our daddy, and just, when I'm praying to him, I'm like all wrapped up in his lap and he's rocking me, because I feel like, yes, he's authoritative, which is what we are supposed to be with our children, but it's like he is that father figure that Some of us
Right.
didn't have, some of us did, or maybe it was a skewed way of being a father, because, you know, we're all kind of winging it here, aren't we?
In some essence, and some people believe we're in a matrix as well. The
Well, of
fact that
course.
everything's on a high vibration. So with being a higher vibration, it seems like when your vibration is higher, you see things seem to go better for you instead of a lower vibration.
Sure. Well, not completely always. Sometimes things are thrown in. I think we're tested a lot.
Yeah. Hello, Darren, wherever you're at. I'm not seeing you in comments, so you must be on one of the main pages. It's not
Yeah, I'm
working.
thinking I'm going to go and look on Facebook and see who's commenting, because I'm not sure we're seeing all the comments.
I don't think we are either, because it says one of them's not working again, and like, oh, Darren Boss, he's on the show tonight. So hello, Darren. Yeah. I also had the honor of you putting me through my Akashic records. Can you explain how the Akashic
so
records
much
work?
fun. Yeah. I learned how to, everybody has the ability to do that. It's funny. I learned how to do that through a podcast that I was watching. And I did a guided meditation, which is the same. That's why I would never charge anybody for that. I've had people ask, hey, can you do this? I just need to be in the right place spiritually at the time, which, like I said, right now is so hectic in my life. I'm taking care of my parents, I'm taking care of my kids, and I'm taking care of my grandkids regularly. I need to, and I haven't been meditating like I should, which is, I'm going to get back to that. But the Akashic records really is an eye opener. And it's funny because most of us have at least one past life that if you did some research, you can find the person, or you've heard about the person, because somebody that dies tragically, their soul splits and can split into a million different spirits. That's why there are so many people here, so many more people here now than there used to be, because spirits have split. So I may share some of the same past lives as most of the people that are here, because that person died so tragically. Oh, there you are, Victor. I see ya.
Mm-hmm.
Victor, I was telling them
who?
I can't say who I am because of the field that I work in. I have to have pre-approval to be on anything that's public. But Victor, I told you last week that I was going to be here, and that was under my name, my real name.
Yeah.
Hi, Derek.
Victor will figure it
Derek
out.
knows who I am. He was at my 4th of July party.
Yep.
Yeah, past lives are amazing, because when I did it, basically you go into a meditation, and there are several ways you can do it, but I walk you down, and you can do it yourself. That's why, yeah, yep, I knew you knew who this was. I can walk you down a hallway, and there are doors on both sides of you, and you choose which door which door resonates with you. I used to be on Sean's. Victor says that he has a bad memory. I used to be on the same team Sean was on. My first name starts with T.
He'll figure it out. But yeah, I mean, some people actually see full pictures when they do that. In my case, I actually seen energy type pictures instead of
not
a full
D,
picture.
Victor, not D. It's T. T as in Tammy.
Tiger.
I didn't say that.
Tiger. She is a tiger. Um, but yeah, I actually seen energy type pictures instead of a full picture like some people see. So I thought
Yeah.
that was awful interesting when you took me into the Akashic records for the first time
It's really neat, and
and
every time that I
started.
go, yeah, every time I go into it, I'm so surprised at what I see. When I go in it, I am re-experiencing that life again.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, it feels like you're actually standing there feeling it, the raindrops and whatever that
Yeah.
happens at that time frame, you could actually feel it going on. So that is definitely one of the most coolest things I have ever experienced when I've been learning some of the stuff that you've taught me
Yeah.
is uh, how it actually feels in the energy around you so you can understand it. So I am
Yeah.
very grateful that, when you taught me how to do things, it's been a benefit in the field.
Yeah. I mean, some people do like oh, have past lives scared me? Absolutely. I was murdered in my last life, and I relived that murder, and it was a high profile murder that I was able, and that I mean, I'd heard of it, but I had never looked more into it. But I remember, falling down, and the car that was there and the person that was with me helped me up, and dancing in a restaurant to the jukebox was somebody who was a really good friend. And oh yeah, I've done this over the internet, Pam. Actually, over the phone's probably a little bit easier. One of the things though, I can actually send you the meditation that I did, because really you can do that. It just, every time it's like you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, now I understand that. Even if it is something scary, it makes you understand things about your life.
Most
Yeah.
definitely.
And it
Most
helps you
definitely.
heal things that you didn't even know you were dealing with.
I will agree with that as well. I mean, I've dealt with some past issues that I've actually came to closure on, and I think getting them closed out had benefited me more than keeping them open and let them manifest and keep going. And
Right.
like I said, closing them out was probably the best thing to do, and just let it go.
Yeah. Well, and it's so odd how things that we experience in this life are connected to those past life things. Like, I was living in fear of everything, I mean, and not that I had, oh, scariest moment? Victor, scariest moment? I do mean during astral projection. I didn't believe in it until kind of recently, which I had heard about it, and people had talked about it that I do trust, but I had never experienced it until recently. And I was like, I woke up out of a dream that I was dreaming that I was dreaming. It was very weird.
So back to what Victor said. What has been your scariest moment?
Victor, are you meaning what is my scariest moment on past lives experiences, or the paranormal?
We're gonna have to wait
Yeah,
for
I
him to
know.
answer there.
I was looking at somebody else's.
And then Darren asked, "What is your thoughts?" You already answered that one.
Mhm. I was talking about, yeah. It's definitely, I mean, I for astral projection, if you have any if you're going through anything difficult, I don't recommend doing it, because you can really come across some bad spirits, and you can get attachments by projecting if you're not in the right place emotionally. Um, I choose not to do it on purpose. I did it kind of recently on accident. But I was just walking around my bedroom was also, and then I went back in to myself. Okay, so my scariest moment in the paranormal was probably when I was 3 years old. And it's okay, so there's a background to it. I used to be there used to be, you know how people like to tickle little kids. I was 3. They, like coochie coochie coo, and they'd run their fingers and everything. Well, that was happening. Some spirit was doing that, and I remember trying to catch the hands. I wasn't scared at that time of it, because it just felt like, somebody that that's just playing with you, because 3 years old. But when I saw them sitting on the side of my bed, that freaked me out. And then when I told my mom, because she had seen it too at different times in the place where we lived, because the person that lived there before us died, um, that freaked my mom out, actually, when I told her about it. But
Was,
it was just sitting there.
was that at the airport location that we were at that one time on investigation?
No, that was the next place we lived. That person had. I lived also in a place that there was a suicide murder. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one. That probably was scarier. Something grabbed my arm in that room, and we
Yeah,
later, after
because
we
I
moved
remember
out of it,
we,
yeah, they were still there, but they were just
yeah,
pacing.
because I remember we went on, yeah, I remember we went on that investigation. We could actually see the glimmer of him walking and pacing.
So sleep paralysis, that can be paranormal. I don't think I don't think that's a medical thing at all. I think that it is you slowly entering the what do you call it, the astral.
The
That's
veil.
you're between the astral and the physical. That's what sleep paralysis is. That's why usually when it happens, you're having a strange dream and you see things that are usually frightening at the time.
Hang on a second, T. I'm going to address something here.
Okay.
Randy. I went on Jerry Springer. I told him I was a man trapped in a woman's body. Now I am a stripper. Well, Mr. Andy, I hope you're making a lot of money right now. And I know you're probably laughing at the comment. I'm just giving you two because you are a very good joker. Randy's one of our sponsors, and I'm on his show every once in a while, so he likes to crack jokes.
Nice.
Let's see here. What do we got here?
A lot of people think it's
a lot of people talk, and I think it's a medical thing.
No, it's not medical. I've experienced sleep paralysis. My son has experienced it, and he's a gifted medium, but he blocks his gifts right now. He used to have dead soldiers, come to try and talk to him when he was like 11.
Mm-hmm. Pam
And,
didn't hear
11 years
laughing,
old. What
and
at 11 years old, what medical problem would you have that would cause something like that?
right, unless you've been in actually an accident or something that it can cause neurological damage, but
Yeah,
then
and he
that's
wasn't.
kind of another situation in itself.
He's perfectly healthy.
What would you recommend for somebody just getting into Reiki and etc.? What would you recommend some of the things they would do first?
Well, definitely take a class. If it's Reiki, take a class from a reputable person, or Munaiki. I would recommend Munaiki before I would recommend Reiki. But you have to find somebody who has those rights. But if you find somebody who has the Munaiki rights, they can charge you a nominal fee for their time, but they can't charge you for the rights. And when I say a nominal fee, I'm saying if they're charging you $300, they have probably already lost their Munaiki rights because they're going against the beliefs of the Munaiki, which is a Native American. Their Native American rights. Favorite haunted location. Right. Wow. I liked all of them, but I would say my own house. My own house has at least 9 spirits. And we've talked to most of them.
I've definitely, I've been there when they've had some incidents and watched them act up a little bit. I actually sat at her kitchen table. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they didn't like a previous
and turned on the lights in the living room.
Oh yeah. We've got a Native American spirit and an old oak tree in our backyard. I know the person who lived here before us or his niece, and her uncle died here. My most memorable situation as a medium. I am actually not a medium, but I will say my son is. But I loved going. Okay. Oh, I just remembered one. I really loved Naked Lawnmower Guy's house. Were you there at that, Sean?
Yeah, that happened. That actually happened about a week before I joined the team. Yep, that was the week before I joined. I watched that whole investigation.
That was hilarious.
Pretty interesting.
He was hilarious. Okay, Naked Lawnmower Man. He I'll answer your question in a minute, Victor. But Naked Lawnmower Man, he in the mid-90s was arrested regularly for mowing his lawn nude, and he was older. He was an older man, and they forced him to put a privacy fence up because he's just like, it's my yard. I'm going to be in the nude. Well, he also wanted to be buried naked because he was a nudist. And when he died, his brother, who was a pastor of a church, would not allow that to happen. That's why he's not at rest.
Huh. Yeah, like I said, I do remember that. Huh. It's not blurry on my side, Randy, so I don't know what's going on. It could be just regular internet interference, but yeah.
So I think that dreams.
What do you think of dreams that people
have? I think that dreams can be either spectrum. It depends. Sometimes, because I know if you think about it, I know that you've watched a movie and you've had a dream that was yeah, Naked Lawnmower Man was funny. Anyway, back to that. If you watch a movie and you have a dream that came from the movie, that's your psyche, that's your brain doing that. That has nothing to do with portals or anything like that. But I also know that when my daughter was, I'd say 10, it was my husband was on a business trip, and my son was spending the night at a friend's house, and it was just us alone. And in the middle of the night, she comes into my room crying because she had a dream that somebody was breaking into our house. Nobody had ever broke into our house, but I had her come and lay in the bed with me, and 15 minutes later, somebody stormed into our back door and broke into our house. And had she not come into my room, I probably would have been killed trying to get to her. But I was able, there were 2 people. One was inside, one was outside. And they were talking on a cell phone to each other. And my bedroom doors we had 2 bedroom doors. I saw the person come in because there was just a bathroom between my bedroom and the back door. So I saw them come in. When I heard them go downstairs, I told her to hide under the bed, and I didn't care what she heard. Do not come out or make a sound. And I sat up against one of the doors and hoped he didn't come to the other door, and called 911 with him still in the house. I took criminology in college. I know that if somebody comes in to your house knowing you're there, they're willing to kill you. So that's where that's where my mind was. And when the police came, they both came up the back alley. The guy ran out the front, and the police tried to tell me that it looked like the wind blew the door open. And I'm like, I saw them, and they turned off and on lights. But anyway, she dreamed that was a warning. I believe that we get warnings for certain things. I also dreamed when my grandpa died. It was and he came to me and told me that I was going to be okay and that he was okay.
Hopefully that answered your question there, Victor, because you kind of started that one before.
Yeah, there are different dreams. It depends on the dream. I have a problem that I don't know which ones are prophetic dreams and which ones are just dreams. Okay, dowsing rods. I have dowsing rods. I wouldn't say they're my favorite. I would rather go with my feeling than equipment. But I also know that I miss a lot of those things because I let my brain get in the way. A lot of the feelings that are there, I let my brain get in the way.
Right.
I do like the I wish there was because I don't like the Ovilus apps. I think those apps are, I mean, you can program anything you want into those. I think those are scams. I think some of what you get from that could be true, but I don't like that. But the brains, I'm having a brain fart. The one that uses the radio waves.
Right.
That kind of scans through radio signals. I think we've gotten a lot of good answers to questions and stuff out of those that are like, there's no way that could have happened otherwise. That was when you were at my house and the spirit told somebody that they were an asshole.
Yeah, I remember that. I can't remember the name that you had on there. I know it wouldn't work on my we call it not my laptop, but my iPad that I have. It wouldn't work on there. That program wouldn't work at all.
So well, and that was an app too, but it only goes on. It doesn't go on a phone. It goes only on the and I can't remember what it's called, but that one was good. And you could set it to be more spiritual. You could set it to only pick up the positive things. But if I want to pick up whole balance thing, I want to hear the positive and the negative. That one likes to. That one I banned from. Oh yeah, Spirit Talk. I've not used that one, but my spirit in my house, I had to ban him from my room because he was making sexual comments to me.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff at times.
He's not bad.
Like I said, even when you're.
Yeah, he's not a negative spirit, but he's perverted.
Yeah, I mean, even you're in your restroom at your house or your bathroom in your house, and then something's falling off. It's like 3 foot away off the shelf, and it's not nothing you can reach or whatever, but it's falling off. And there's no vibration coming through the house. That's pretty weird.
The water faucet exploding on the one person because my grandma's here too. I don't know why she didn't die here. I think she's just protecting me, but he asked her to make herself seen, and she exploded my water faucet and doused him with water. My grandma was very feisty.
Yeah. Well, T, we're coming at the top of the hour here. It's almost been an hour, believe it or not.
Wow.
I'd like to say this, I'd like to personally thank you for being my mentor when I started out, and all the things you've taught me has been very educational.
Well, you've taught me a lot
all
too.
Very useful. And So, I mean, I appreciate everything you've done for me and even helping out with the new team when I ask, from time to time. And I really do appreciate everything you do for me. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
And if anybody wants to know if anybody wants a link to the meditation that I use for the Akashic records to get their past lives, Sean, feel free to give them my information, and they can reach out to me, and I'll
okay,
send them a link. It's just a YouTube video.
fine. Darren, I've actually got 6 that I work with.
Sometimes we find out there are way more than we think.
Yeah.
And we can have animals and everything. Yep.
Well, I
Thank
have
you,
6
Darren.
regular guys, which I call guardians, and then I have some animal guides as well. So that's very, very interesting that I have that many. But going through my Akashic records and the things that Miss T here has taught me through Reiki and the Menaki rites, I have come across several interesting things that all link together. So like I said, I thank you very much.
All have common past lives too. So
right, and things in common, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Great show. Thanks, Darren. Awesome guest. And
I would love I would love to have to send some people some of the link of the Akashic Records connection, and maybe come back and have them share their experience.
Yeah, that would definitely be interesting.
Pam, I might be friends with you, Pam. But if not, I'll have Sean send you my connected information. It doesn't matter. I don't have to be available. I can send you the link to the YouTube video that I learned how to access the Akashic records. You don't have to have me.
Yeah. I think I actually still have that link. Well, it might be actually on the other laptop. It might be on my old laptop though, but otherwise I'll have you relay it to me and I'll send it to them for sure. But I'm like I said, T, I appreciate everything you've done and all your teachings, and I am very grateful for what you have done for me and my learning. So thank you very much.
No problem. You're welcome.
Is there anything that you'd kind of like to say or throw out there in general before I put you in the back room and close out the show?
Just, I mean, basically, there's, the only thing, like somebody said up there really are no fully negative spirits unless you make them that way. Most of the spirits here are just scared and don't know where they're at. We're kind of spirits that are here scared and don't know where we're at too most of the time. There's nothing to be afraid of here, really. Keep your vibration high and you're going to connect to better things.
Very true. I do believe in that very well because I do keep my energy level very high. People that know me and that is around me knows that it is very high at times. So, All righty. Well, we're going to close out the show and I'm going to put T in the back room here. And like I said, thank you very much for coming on the show and
you're welcome.
Everything you've done for me. I'm going to set you in the back right now and then I'm going to close out the show here. Well, everyone, that is Ms. T.C. Sophia. She is my mentor. She was my teacher to Reiki and Menaki. She is a very gifted person, and I appreciate everything she's done for me. That's why I'd like to have her on our show today, so she can talk about some of the things that she knows and has experienced as well, and some of the Menaki and Reiki stuff as well. Even a little bit of the crystals we touched upon today. Not very much, but we'll probably do it again. We'll have her on the show down the road again as well. So with all that being said, next week on Eternal X Wolfpack Paranormal, we have Mr. Darren Buss will be on the show, and we are looking forward to having him on the show. So we will see you all next Sunday at 7 p.m. Central. And I hope everybody has a great evening and the rest of your weekend. Have a good night, guys. We're out of here.